Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today on How Do I Homeschool? I'm Rebecca Devitt, I'm the author of Why on Earth Homeschool, the case for Christian homeschooling, and today we're going to be talking about classical education, what it is, the elements in it, and we'll have a particular focus on the Trivium, or the things that are generally taught in the primary and the secondary school years. Because we are a homeschooling channel, we talk about that also from a homeschooling angle. So what is classical education? Classical education is made up of the Trivium and the Quadrivium. So Trivium means trivium, tri is three, via is roads or ways, so three ways. So the secondary, so for a child's primary and secondary education, they would be studying the grammar stage, the logic stage and the rhetoric stage, which are all part of the Trivium. The Quadrivium, what is the Quadrivium? Well, the Quadrivium is generally studied in tertiary education, and it consists of 4 subjects. We are going to mainly leave that for maybe another video sometime. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like that to happen, if you would like a video on the Quadrivium, and I can organise that. But for most people on my channel, you're going to be interested in the Trivium as concerns the primary and secondary stages. So the first stage of the Trivium is made up of the grammar stage. This is generally your primary school, much younger students, and the grammar stage is about giving children facts so that they can use it in the later logic and rhetoric stages. So in the later stages, they're going to be doing things like debating, learning logic, learning how to present themselves. They need material, and good material, to do that with. And so that's what you're teaching them in the first stage. Some people might say public schools or traditional schools maybe only ever do the grammar stage. They only ever teach knowledge to children, and they don't go on to teach children how to think, how to do dialectic, how to be logical with their reasoning, and then present themselves well. And the reason we need to present ourselves well is that people will actually listen to us when we make our arguments. So the grammar stage is about giving children knowledge that they're going to use later on. The logic stage is the second stage of the Trivium in classical education, and it consists of teaching children how to argue well. So they're at a stage, it's called the pert stage, so where they like to argue forever. They love it. So you teach them how to argue well using logic, and a lot of the time this plays out with debates. You'll get children to debate each other or write argumentative essays instead of just rote learning. So rote learning is more a feature of the first stage. We call children who are really young in the grammar stage, we call them they're in the poll-parrot stage, where they love just learning stuff over and over again, and they don't necessarily need to understand the reason why, but they just like little jingles. In the second stage, they're in the pert stage, so we are essentially teaching children according to the developmental stage they're at. The rhetoric stage is the third stage of the Trivium. This is when Dorothy Sayers called students of this age, the high school age, she called them in the poetic age. She said that's because they're at an age where they just want to present themselves well and they want to be listened to. So Douglas Wilson, in his book The Case for, what's it called, The Case for Classical Christian Education, he said the reason there's so many dishevelled rhetorics, he called it, and he gave he gave the example of a teenager saying, "Dude, like I was totally there." He said the reason you get so much of that these days is because teenagers are trying so hard to present themselves, but it's not coming out right because we haven't taught them how to do that. So the third stage of classical education is the rhetoric stage, and it's about teaching children rhetoric. And Quintilian, who was a famous rhetorician, he described it, the third stage of the Trivium, the rhetoric stage, as a good man speaking well. So that's what we want to be teaching in the third stage of the Trivium. And so that is the classical education Trivium. As I said, you teach children facts, you teach them how to learn things logically, and then you teach them how to present well. This makes all other teaching of other subjects much easier, because you've just given the, Dorothy Sayers called them the lost tools of learning. So you've just given them the tools of how to learn things. And I haven't said anything about Latin, but the reason, so a big thing about classical education is that it does encourage students to learn Latin. And that's because if you learn Latin, it's something like 50%, maybe more, of the English language, and then many other Romance languages are based on that. So that will help you enormously, and that's a big reason we do teach children Latin in a classical education, is for those reasons. And so by teaching Latin, you're teaching children how to understand words and where words came from. This means that if they want to go on and study the Quadrivium, the subjects at university, they're going to be right there, because they'll have the base root words in their memory. And so before a normal student will know what a word means, they've kind of already put it together using the Latin words, because a lot of the words are based on the Latin words. And so that would be why we would teach Latin in a classical education setting. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, like it and subscribe below. So this channel is about homeschooling, but we have a bit of a bent towards classical education and Charlotte Mason education, and just anything that will help people learn. So it's about educating, I guess, the homeschooling parent to do things better. I'm also going to do some videos later on the grammar, the logic, the rhetoric stage, and a little bit more on the Trivium. So if you hit the bell button below, next to the subscribe button, that will make sure you get those videos when it's published. So thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate you listening in, and hopefully I'll see you soon next time.